Hello, everybody. It's August 10th. This is episode 56 of the Clappercast. I'm Burke,
I'm Sean.
and the qualifying round and the round robin is over of this year's playoffs, and we're set to begin the first official round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I thought we could just start with a quick recap of what happened in those qualifying rounds, Sean.
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, that was actually pretty good hockey, considering they just kind of showed up out of 4 months off and immediately jumped into playoff intensity. The round robin games are another story. That was I actually forgot they were happening, but qualifying series is great.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, we can head right in with just a quick recap of what happened. We got a lot to talk about with round one starting tomorrow on Tuesday. We can give a quick recap of each of the play-in series first here to kind of on the same page.
Yeah, so let's start with the Western Conference, everybody's favorite. Maybe we'll start with your favorite team to get it over with.
Pull up the dagger really quickly here.
Yeah, let's get that done with. So the Edmonton Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks. I got that one wrong. I predicted that it would be a sweep for the Oilers, and it was almost the complete opposite. So that's too bad. Chicago took that one in 4, right?
In 4.
Yeah.
I mean, this is ultimately what I was worried about. Like, Chicago's got the experience, they've got the intangibles, they know how to elevate their game quickly, they know how to play playoff hockey. Edmonton was not ready, and they quickly found themselves like completely overwhelmed and behind Chicago, especially in that first game. And Dominic Kubalik just dominated. It's the main thing for Edmonton's like that defensive pressure, and their coverage was terrible. Lost so many assignments, they were out of position, nobody was really engaged, they were just floating around. Like, it's not going to work against the team like Chicago. They know how to elevate their game really quick.
Yeah, it was not great series for the Oilers, for everyone basically not named Connor McDavid. I just thought,
pretty much,
how much more does that guy have to do? He gave the team the lead basically in every game, minute in, and they found a way to lose.
Yep.
So,
and I mean, it wasn't even it was actively losing too, because they deflected the goals in too. They had 3 or 4 own goals. One of them was a game winner. Chicago.
Yeah, pretty bad. Dominic Kubalik had a great game one. I think he got a power play goal in the. He got the game. Did he get the series winning goal? I know he got a game winner later in the series, but anyway, he had a great.
To repress these memories.
He had a great series. Taves obviously was huge, playing with Kubalik too. I told you that if Chicago ends up winning the cup, I will get a Kubalik jersey just because I love that guy.
Yep. So this is now recorded. This is eternalized on the internet. So you have to be held to it now. We'll keep tabs on that.
Yeah. So let it be known that if the Hawks win, I'm getting a Kubalik jersey. I don't know. Not a whole lot more to say really about that. It was pretty disappointing for Oilers to be knocked out of their own barn. I don't have to tell you that, I guess. So we both got that one wrong in our predictions. So I don't know what that means, but a little bit of bias, I guess. Let's move on to the other Alberta team, Calgary Flames versus Manitoba's own Winnipeg Jets.
So you and I differed in predictions on this one. I picked Calgary in 5. You picked Winnipeg in 5. I took this one. I got Calgary. They didn't win in 5, but still got the team. But
I think that I did get it wrong, but I think there should be an asterisk next to it because like the 2 best players on Winnipeg got knocked out in game 1.
Yeah, so that's my note here. It's like the series was fun, but Winnipeg got screwed over by their lack of depth and those injuries. Like they were missing. Brian Little never even played, and then Scheifele and Laine out in game 1, and Matthew Perreault got hurt, and I don't really think he was the same after, if he even played.
Appleton,
I can't remember.
Appleton,
yeah. So these are major players for them, and if you lose all of that, there's not a whole lot to take over, and it doesn't help when Calgary's top line actually was decent. But the criticism we had about Calgary is that they might not have the right depth to take over for Winnipeg. Turns out their depth did fine with Milan Lucic and Mangiapane. That actually really helped offensively. They both had about 4 points.
Yeah, that line of Sam Bennett, I think Mangiapane and Lucic, was that the line? No, Mangiapane plays on line 2, I think. So it was Lucic, Bennett, and somebody else. Anyway, that was a great checking line for them. They made an impact. It sucks for Winnipeg. I think they would have, put up a little bit more of a fight with Mark Scheifele and Patrick Laine in the lineup.
But Paul Maurice tried to get the fight to happen. He did. I mean, that was still a close competitive series. It's just Winnipeg didn't have the firepower once they're missing half their top 6 forwards.
Yeah, you can't fault them for that too much.
No.
So I did get it wrong, but I didn't expect 2 out of Winnipeg's top 6 forwards to be knocked out in game 1.
Unforeseen circumstances. Give me the asterisk.
Also of note in this one was Cam Talbot. Played really well.
Cam Talbot, you have like a 945 save percentage or something. Like that's really good.
Again, Mark Scheifele and no Patrick Laine, but he played really well. And, there's a bit of controversy going in if they play Talbot or Riddick. And I don't think anyone can fault the choice to go with Talbot and just keep going with him.
He's got it. It's his to lose right now.
So he's played really well. So that's one for you. Another one wrong for me. But move on to Minnesota versus the Vancouver Canucks. We both predicted Vancouver in 4. Ended up being Vancouver in 5, with a really sweet Tanev overtime series winner. I mean, this one was pretty much what we thought it would be. Markstrom playing really well. He let in a few soft goals that I know people might not be too happy with, but I think overall he was really good. Stalock was really good too. But the Canucks just scoring. They could just score more.
I think Vancouver did win in 4, so we got this one right with games as well.
I thought they won in. Did they win in 4?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all going too fast. I can't remember.
Right?
Anyway, they won. So
they did. That's
counting that as.
And I mean, you're right. So Markstrom, he is prone to letting in weird goals, and I think that's just a consequence of the team in front of him being a bit Swiss cheesy sometimes. They're not exactly the greatest defensively, so there's going to be some random crap that gets through.
Right. It was 4 games. So my bad.
Or it looks better for us because we predicted Vancouver in 4.
Yeah, we got this one exactly right.
Yep. I mean, this one too, it played out exactly as I thought it would. That Minnesota came out stronger in game 1. They kind of took advantage of a youthful Vancouver team, and then Vancouver learned their lesson very quickly, turned it around, and swept the rest of the way out.
Yeah,
and Minnesota had very little going on. Kevin Fiala was a force in that series. He was single-handedly trying to win. There was like a joking picture of Minnesota's coach, I think it's Eveson now, calling a timeout and telling the team the strategy, and it's just like the X is just Fiala, and it's just him squiggling around the entire ice with the puck. No other dots on there. Yeah, just get Fiala the puck, and he'll squiggle around and score. Like that's Minnesota's offense right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to have the Canucks officially in playoffs. So I guess both got that one exactly right. And then last up, we had the Arizona Coyotes versus the Nashville Predators. I had Arizona in 5, and you had Nashville in 4. Ended up being Arizona in 4. So I was close. You had the right number of games. I had the right team. So together we got it right.
I like this way.
Yeah. So it was a kind of a back and forth series. A lot of timely goals from Arizona.
Yeah. That's my main thing is like we talked about Arizona's lack of offense and how that was going to hurt them in the series, and it turns out they were fine. Like their main players showed up. I mean, Hall, Grabner, Kessel, they all had really good series. Yeah, it was good. It wasn't as boring as I thought it was going to be. Philip Forsberg and that whole Jofa line had a good series. Mm-hmm. UC Saros played pretty well. Some weird goals let in, but Darcy Kemper was really good. Kind of like a little bit of an X factor. So yeah. So for the Western Conference, I had 2 teams right. And then you had. I also had 2.
As well. Yeah. So 50%. We'll move on to the East. So
the coin flip is working so far.
Yeah. So the East, kind of everyone's surprise here. The Pittsburgh Penguins got bumped by the Montreal Canadiens.
This was like the one series that pretty much everybody was like, yeah, Pittsburgh's just going to sweep it. Montreal doesn't have a chance. And Montreal came out strong. Carey Price set the tone for the team early, and they held in. Montreal took down the Penguins, and like you kind of see the Penguins, I think they're now like 1-9 in their last 10 postseason games or something. And it's kind of like, are they starting to hit the end of their reign here? Are they going to be on the downward spiral from now on?
God, I hope so.
Caps fan alert.
Yeah, I mean, that's including, I think, a couple of games lost to the Caps, and then the sweep by the Islanders, and then, these games lost against Montreal. So I'm okay with that. I mean, we spoke about how Price had to be good for Montreal to have a chance, and he was really good. So,
yep. And I mentioned too, Shea Weber and Jeff Petrie are going to have to be big on defense, and both of them showed up. They were, leading scorers for the team up in the top, and Jeff Petrie especially with his game winner back in game 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their whole D line was great. Like Ben Sherratt.
Ben Sherratt got a lot of ice time per game. I think he was up about 20 minutes.
So yeah, they did really well. Crosby got eliminated on his birthday. So just insult to injury. Carey Price. That's pretty much what it came down to.
Yeah, the Montreal Carey Prices are advancing to the NHL playoffs.
Pittsburgh just could not get anything going. So props to Montreal. Nobody expected that one, so it was pretty cool to see. We had both had Pittsburgh. You had them as a sweep, and I had them in 4. So both kind of wrong on that one. Next up, we had the Hurricanes versus the Rangers. You had Carolina in 5. So did I. Carolina didn't need that many games.
No. I wonder if Brind'Amour still wants that extra game, though.
Yeah. So Carolina looked great. They were playing against the Rangers, so you had to keep that in mind a bit going into the next round, that, the Rangers aren't really a playoff team, technically. I think that Carolina might look a little bit better than where they actually are, but they looked pretty good.
I mean, we kind of talked about the Rangers. They've got their firepower and how it was going to match up against Carolina's defense and shutdown style. And I mean, the Rangers got nothing going. Carolina kind of dominated all of that. It doesn't exactly help when they lost Shesterkin for the first 2 games and had to play Lundqvist. But let's be honest, that Rangers defense did not help at all. They got eaten alive. Yeah, Anthony D'Angelo is not doing too well right now.
No, they basically had no defense, and then they had Henrik Lundqvist in net. So I think that going into the next round, Carolina won't make it look so easy. But, maybe they'll take that momentum and keep rolling. They did look good. That top line was really good.
Yeah, Svechnikov and Teravainen and Aho were just killing it. So that's going to be an exciting one to watch.
Yeah, so we had the team right on that one. So I'll knock that down as a victory for us. Next up, we had the New York Islanders versus the Florida Panthers. We both had Florida in 5. So,
I severely overestimated or placed way too much confidence in Florida. Were they ever disappointing?
Yeah, they sucked, man. They really sucked.
Bobrovsky was mediocre, just as I was kind of worried about, and the team in front of him was half asleep most of the time. They scored 7 goals in 4 games. Hoffman had 3 of them.
Yeah,
it's like most of the team had 0 impact on the score sheet, and New York just shut them down. And even New York's offense was good. They got 13 goals in 4 games, but I mean, how much of that was playing against an asleep Florida Panthers with Bobrovsky in net?
Yeah, I agree, 100%. It was not great hockey for Florida. So again,
it's resulted in them making a change at GM earlier this morning. They're not renewing the contract with Dale Talon, so they're going to be looking for a new GM who. This isn't a bad team. The Panthers have a really good roster in place on paper, and they really just need a few of the missing pieces to be put into place. So I wonder if the new guy's going to be able to find those pieces for them.
Yeah, hopefully. Next up, we had the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, and
Oh,
I am.
I gotta give you props here. You went for the bold hot take pick with Columbus, and you even got them in 5. And look, they pulled it right out. Like they gave you that one.
I aced this one. I'm very proud. I'm very proud of this one.
Round of applause from this end.
Yeah, so I had Columbus in 5. You had Toronto in 4. I mean, I can't knock you for that. On paper, they should have done it. But how many times has Toronto been in that situation where they should have done it and they didn't?
And they didn't.
And in true Maple Leaf heartbreaking fashion for their fans, they came back in excellent fashion in Game 4, made it look like they turned it around, and then came out just totally flat. Nothing to their game in Game 5.
I'm surprised Toronto came out as flat as they did, and this even goes back to like Game 1 when they couldn't really get anything going. Like they did not set a good tone for the series, and they were flat, like you said.
Yeah, it was a shutout. So props to Korpisalo, props to Torts. They had a game plan and they stuck to it, and
Seth Jones and Zach Werenski too did an amazing job with Toronto's offense. They completely negated that for a large part of that series.
Yeah, Seth Jones was a monster, and Zach Werenski was huge too. It's a pretty big luxury to be able to just switch goalies like that. In like Game 3,
it sucks. It's going to be hard now because I think I just saw that Merzlikins is out indefinitely.
Oh, that's rough.
They've got Korpisalo and that other guy with a name I can't pronounce.
Kivelniks or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even want to try.
Yeah, that's too bad because in Game 3 when they took Korpisalo and put Elvis in, it was just they completely switched. Toronto stopped playing and Columbus got refreshed and they were able to take it. It's pretty wild. So in the East, I batted 50% again. And
I only got 1.
All right, so take that.
Yep, you got me. You got 4 out of 8. I got 3 out of 8.
Yeah.
You win this round.
All right. Who's keeping score, right? So speaking of keeping score, let's give our predictions for the next round here. So, you want to start in the West again?
Let's keep the trend going. Let's start out West.
Okay. So, first up, we'll do it in chronological order here. So, the first game in the West is going to be Calgary-Dallas. What do you think? Who do you like in this one?
See, I kind of don't have a lot of faith in the Stars for this one. That Dallas is in a similar situation with Winnipeg where they kind of have that elite level goaltending that is the fundamental point of their system. Dallas has a way better defense than Winnipeg, which is going to be way in their favor. But Dallas struggled big time in those the round robin games. They did not play very well at all. They had absolutely no production from their main forwards. Miro Heiskanen was their only guy who contributed offensively consistently with 4 assists in the 4 games on all 4 goals that the team scored. And I think that Calgary can take advantage of this just the way they took down Hellebuck in Winnipeg even with a stronger D to contend with. So if Dallas is only going to be able to get 1 goal a game, Calgary will be okay. So I lean Calgary in 7 for this one. I think it's going to be a good battle. I think that the depth that Calgary has shown in their offense that they exemplified throughout the first round or the qualifying round is going to put them over top of Dallas unless Dallas can find their offense.
Yeah, I think Sagan didn't play in the last qualifying game or the last round robin game, and their power play looked pretty pathetic without him on there. But I think with him back in the lineup, I think they've got this one. I'm gonna say Dallas in 6 for this one. I think that Cam Talbot he looked really good in that round or in the qualifying, but I think Ben Bishop and Anton Hudobin are better tandem.
Absolutely.
So I think the consistency will be on their side. I think Dallas just has, as you mentioned, the defense. They've got they've got an agitator, Supreme and Corey Perry. So
Absolute
Matthew
same.
Tkachuk will be,
Ooh, that's actually a good battle. I never even considered those two going at each other.
yeah. So that'll be fun to watch. I like Dallas. I also told you that if Dallas goes all the way, I predicted them to win the cup. So if they go all the way, I'll get a Miro Heiskanen jersey.
Yeah, so you got a couple of jersey bets laying on the line here.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing coming the other way, so it's totally a one way. So I gotta support Dallas. I think they're gonna do it in 6. So we'll move on here. So the next game in the West is gonna be Chicago versus Vegas. For this one, I'm going Vegas all the way. I think Chicago, they showed that they're still, playoff contenders. They can get stuff done. They've got scoring ability, but I think Vegas is they're not the Edmonton Oilers. They've got better goaltending. They've got a better offense, more rounded offense. I think they're going to be tougher to take down. So I'm going to go Vegas, and I'll go Vegas in 5.
Yeah. The thing with Vegas that I take as a big difference from Edmonton is that Vegas will take control of the game. Edmonton's more passive. They wait for the opponent to play into their system. Vegas is more aggressive in that they'll take control of the game, and Chicago's not going to lend themselves well to that because they don't have the depth or the strength on the roster to be able to overpower Vegas that has 2 of the top forward lines in the league. This is offensively and defensively as well. And that's going to shut down Chicago's offense. They don't have the depth to take care of that. Not to mention, like you said, Vegas has much better goaltending, that they now have Robin Lehner in there as well. And they had 2 defenders in Shea Theodore and Nate Schmidt who have stepped up big time this season, that they now kind of have those top 4, top 2 pairing, those top 4, top 2 guys to help on the back end that they didn't used to have.
Yeah, now they got Alec Martinez too.
Yeah, and Alec Martinez, forgot about him. Stanley Cup winner right there with the game-winning goal there. So I agree. I take Vegas in 5 on this one.
Yeah, Leonard's revenge.
Yeah, right. I think you put a picture on Twitter or something that was just like, well, this is awkward.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, I think Vegas has got this one. And then kind of an interesting matchup, I think, is Arizona and Colorado.
This is an interesting one.
I really would like Arizona to make it through this and go on a bit of a run. I love them with their Kachina jerseys, just kind of, playing solid hockey. But I think Colorado's just too good.
Yeah,
I think
that's where I'm at.
I think you can play defensive hockey all day, but when Nathan McKinnon's out there, I don't even know what system. Like, there's not a system that can be implemented that shuts him down. So
yeah, and it's kind of a battle. I mean, you've got which is it going to be the offense or the defense that gets run out first? Like, is McKinnon and Landeskog and Rantanen going to be able to overpower Arizona to tire them out, or is Arizona going to tire out Colorado?
Yeah,
like I feel like that's going to be the main thing, is like which side breaks first.
Yeah, I'm going to say Colorado in 6.
Yeah, I've got the exact same thing. Colorado in 6. This is going to be a tough, hard-fought series. Colorado we just talked about their high-powered offense. Arizona's got that gritty team shutdown mentality. They do have this newfound offensive flair, apparently, that they could actually lend themselves well. And a big key for this is going to be Darcy Kemper, that he had a .950 save percentage in their series against Nashville. That's going to be huge. And Arizona's going to need him to be on top of his game to match up against that offensive output Colorado can have. And the other knock against Colorado is that these round robin games did not have a very high intensity at all, other than like that buzzer beater with Kadri. So a lot of these teams, a lot of these higher seeds, are going to come into this with probably colder legs than the qualifying series teams. So Colorado's really going to have to step up and find their game quickly against the team that's already found their legs. That's where I think Arizona is going to be able to take advantage and probably snag a couple of games.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to make probably a similar point in the next matchup we're going to speak about. But yeah, I think ultimately Colorado they've got that scoring touch. Like you said, though, Arizona has newfound playoff legend Taylor Hall. He's just firing on all cylinders. So who knows what could happen? I'm excited to watch that one, though. I think it's going to be fun. Just kind of that defense with a new offense, but also facing up against that Nathan McKinnon, high energy, Cale Makar. Going to be fun. Two solid goaltenders. Be fun series. And then, so last in the West is Vancouver and St. Louis. So I was going to mention that St. Louis did not look great in those round robin games. They looked pretty flat, pretty disinterested, just not great. Whereas Vancouver, had a solid series against Minnesota. That was tough. There was a lot of bad blood. There was fights. There was a lot going on there. So I think Vancouver will come out hot, and it will. The series will be determined if St. Louis wakes up or not. I would like to see Vancouver move on, so I'm going to take an edgy pick here. I'm going to go Vancouver in 5.
I think that's less edgy than you think. There's actually quite a few people are picking Vancouver out of this series, so you're not alone on that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not too far off. Like they are kind of my dark horse pick to make a run, just because of that youthful energy they have. That if they we've talked about, they get hot, then there's no stopping a team like that.
Yeah. So I hope it can happen. Maybe the playoff failures of the St. Louis Blues have been, cast aside winning a cup. Maybe the Vancouver will be inspired by that and do something similar. So yeah, I'm gonna say Vancouver in 5. What's your pick?
I'm taking St. Louis in 6 on this one. I personally think this is a very bad matchup for Vancouver against the former Cup champs. I mean, St. Louis is strong in all areas. Their focus is a bit more on the solid defense, where they've got a really strong defensive core with Pietrangelo and Parayko. They've got defensive forwards with guys like Braden Shen and Ryan O'Reilly. And that's going to really be able to shut down Vancouver's offense when you've got Parayko possibly matching up against someone like Pettersson to just completely physically shut him down. Mm-hmm. And Vancouver doesn't have that team defense to be able to counter a team like St. Louis that's just been there, defending Cup champs. They know what it takes to win. They know how to turn their game up. Saying that, I'm well aware that they did kind of suck in the round robin game, but I'm giving them a couple of games to turn that around. I think Vancouver will be able to capitalize on that a bit. I think that Louis will find their game pretty quick, and I think they will be able to take this one.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so let's move on to the East. So we've got rematch alert here. We've got Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Tampa Bay Lightning.
What a great timeline this is. To go from, to take them out last year and then play them again this year in the first round. Is it Tampa's revenge, or is it going to be, another playoff curse for the Lightning?
I'm gonna stick with the exact same prediction here, even though it's a different number of games. I'm gonna say Columbus in 5.
Okay,
I'm just gonna go with it. I want Columbus to go. Let's make it happen. Meme magic. I don't even want to explain it. I'm just going Columbus in 5.
It's voodoo magic, okay?
Yep. How about you?
So, I need to preface my pick by saying that so far, when I pick against Columbus, I have good results, because I don't actually mind Columbus winning. I think it's great to have that underdog team move on as much as possible. Just it's more exciting for the league than just the expected superstars. It's kind of the thing with the NBA where it's the same 2 teams competing every year. It's nice to have the NHL. There's a few other teams making noise once in a while. So that being said, I'm picking Tampa Bay in 7, because I think, as we now know, Columbus can actually match up against these teams. They just took down Toronto. They just took down Tampa Bay last year. And I fully expect Columbus to actually do very well in this series. I would not be the least bit surprised if they win. Mm-hmm. But, I'm gonna continue with what works by picking against them so that they win.
Okay. I like it.
On Tampa Bay's side too, I mean, they did address some of their needs from last year. The main one being that they were unable to physically match up against the Blue Jackets. They did find a little bit of that, bringing in guys like Patrick Maroon to help with that physicality side of their game. It's going to be hard for Columbus is that they did just lose Merzlikins, so they're kind of banking all of their hopes right now on Korpisalo.
Yeah.
And they do end up with another year of experience for Jones and Werenski. That pairing has been so good right now that I absolutely think they can match up and shut down that Kucherov line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Seth Jones and Zach Werenski match up there. Because Tampa's kind of bulked up their offense. They've added a lot of guys. They've got like Blake Coleman, Patrick.
I forgot about him too. Yeah, like Coleman's a good example of one of those bottom six forwards that's really going to help out with their depth and their physical engagement in a game.
Yeah, there's somebody else that they've added too, but I can't remember.
Barclay Goodrow.
Yes, that's true. That's who it is.
Yeah.
So
in much the same vein as Blake Coleman. I mean, Goodrow's a bit bigger, so he's got more presence on the ice, but same deal where it's just that physical presence in the bottom six to help match up against Columbus when they completely dominated them in that regard last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. So Carolina and Boston is the next up matchup.
Yeah, so I mean, here's another rematch. This one's actually going to be pretty cool as well. We're getting a lot of these, which is nice. It's nice for some rivalries to start developing with these I would say like out of or smaller market teams like Columbus and Carolina starting to match up against these bigger beasts of the East, basically.
Yeah.
Last year we got Boston swept Carolina in the conference final, but it'll be an interesting storyline with Boston starting very slow on round robin, very similar to St. Louis. That are quite often, I think they went 0-3 in their round robin games. Like they were not very good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that Carolina, having just swept the Rangers, having found their legs, hopefully being in a decent position to match up better and jump in quickly and take this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you see your prediction here?
I'm going to go with Carolina in 5.
Ooh,
I want to
okay.
have at least one of these kind of like underdog teams on my picking.
Okay. I'm picking like all of them basically. I think that Boston they haven't looked sharp. Like you said, very much like St. Louis. I think that they will wake up though. So I think Carolina will take the first couple games, and then it'll be Boston. So I think it's going to be Boston in 7. I think it's going to be a long one.
It's going to be a good series. These are going to be 2 fun teams to watch.
It is going to be a fun series. I think they match up pretty well against each other. Carolina's going to want the rematch, and Boston's going to, want redemption in the cup final. So I think Boston's got a shot at it.
I mean, this is a smart Canes team. Like they know what happened last year. They know how to fix what happened last year. They do have a bit of a disadvantage, or I say a bit of a disadvantage, a major disadvantage in net. James Reimer versus Tuukka Rask. I mean, Reimer was great against New York, but New York's no Boston apparently. So, one lineup note for Carolina as well is that it looks like they're going to get Dougie Hamilton back. That he could actually be ready for tomorrow for Tuesday's game 1.
Yeah, that's massive. That's so good for them. Hopefully Boston will get their first line back for this series.
Yeah.
They're
Let's
pretty
put
much invisible.
some posters on some milk cartons in Boston right away.
Yeah. All right, so then we got the Islanders and the Washington Capitals. So these teams have played each other a few times. Yeah, we've got Trotz playing his old team. We've got Washington, which was, I believe, they were the last team to play in Nassau when it closed the first time, when the Capitals beat them in that playoff series. So Capitals have a fond memory of playing the Islanders in playoffs.
Bit of a history with that team.
I think Washington also looked pretty sleepy in the round robin. A
Yeah,
lot of the
they
teams
had
did.
5 goals in 3 games. Radko Gudas is leading them in scoring with 2 points. Ovechkin had zilch.
It's too bad. Also of
Gonna
note,
have to turn
though,
it up fast.
John Carlson didn't play in like any of those games.
Yeah, he got hurt, and his
Um,
status for game 1 is still unknown as of when I looked a couple hours ago.
yeah, they held him out like for precautionary reasons. I think he should be good to go. I've seen pictures of him like practicing and stuff, so I hope he's in, because that's gonna be massive if he's not. He's the MVP basically of the year for them, so they need him. I think I still like this one for Washington. So I'm gonna go Washington in 6. Nothing can be easy for Washington, so
no, got to make it difficult.
yeah, Washington in 6. I think Holtby's got to play well.
Well, with Copley and Vanacek as the backups, yeah, he's got to be. It's basically
got a pretty
on him.
long leash, but I think he's gonna want to, showcase people that he's still one of the premier goalies in the league and try and get a contract somewhere. So
yeah, I mean, it's a good point. He's in a contract year, but he had a horrible regular season, and that's not what you want to do. So he's got to showcase himself a little bit here, which could lead to a motivated goaltender, someone who's going to hopefully make another big save like that one in Game 2 in the Cup final there.
Yeah, and I like the maturity of the Caps. I think they're the oldest team on average in playoffs, and they added Ilya Kovalchuk. That brings it up a lot. So I think that just the maturity and the fact that all their older guys got a giant rest, and they played the round robin, but wasn't really for anything. I think now they'll turn it up because it's it means something and it's a series. So I like the Caps. I am biased, but so yeah. What did I say?
It
Caps
happens.
in 6.
Yeah, so I think the Caps have the offensive flair, but I'm concerned that the structure of the Islanders could overpower that before the Capitals can even get anything going based off of how they played in the round robin. Like if Washington needs a game or two to get their legs under them, like the Islanders have that structure that they can probably take over very quickly and make it difficult for the Caps to find anything. We saw it last year that Carolina overpowered Washington as well. And I'm wondering if a similar thing's going to happen again this year. I ultimately went with the Islanders in 6. Mm-hmm. Washington's too good of a team to completely get swept. That with a guy like Ovechkin, he's absolutely going to take a game or two for himself. But I think New York's structure and just all around team, the solid roster that they have will propel them through this first round.
Fair enough. Okay, so last up, we've got the Montreal Canadiens versus the Philadelphia Flyers. And I don't want to undersell or undercut Montreal again here, but Philadelphia was absolutely flying in the round robin.
I get it.
They secured, yeah, you like that? So
I have the exact same line in my notes, so I was waiting to make that joke myself.
Perfect. They secured the number 1 seed. They looked really sharp in every single game that they played in. I think the Flyers are the kind of the favorite right now. So not just in this series, but in general, I think they're up there. So I'm gonna pick them in 5 for this. I think Carey Price, gotta respect him, and he'll probably steal one game in this series again. But I think the Philadelphia Flyers are deeper. They've got better defense. They've got, they've got that playoff style hockey that they play. Whereas the Penguins, I don't know. They just, as you mentioned, they're kind of losing it a bit. Whereas the Flyers are on the upswing. So I like the Flyers a lot in this one. So Flyers in 5.
Yeah, I've got the Flyers in 6 for this one. I think Montreal is ready for a battle. They've got their confidence. They've got enough confidence that they're rallying around their goalie right now, and I think that's going to help give them a couple of games. And I think that's going to make a really competitive series here. But so much of this series is going to fall on Carey Price, and that the Flyers are going to get a lot of chances. They've got some elite offensive talent with Giroux and Voracek and Couturier, and even some offensive talent off the blue line if Gostisbehere can be decent, but mostly in Ivan Provorov. Mm-hmm. So going to be Carey Price is going to need to be Conn Smythe worthy every game once again to keep his team involved. And it's could get to a point where it's like one goal from the Habs could be a difference maker. That all they need is Deno or Suzuki to go down, get a quick goal. And if Price can keep the team in it, well, it's Montreal's now. But I think, like you said, the Flyers are flying. They've got all the momentum on their team. They've come in hot, and I think Philly takes it, and I think it's at 6.
Okay, so different amount of games, but same team. All right, so that's all the series. We're kind of, at odds a little bit on a lot of those.
Yeah,
so
we're like opposite on a lot of those this time. That's unusual. Usually we're pretty close.
I've got a few meme picks, so kind of went off the board a little bit. So we'll see how it plays out. Playoff hockey is so interesting because it's so unpredictable. So see if there's any big upsets or what. It seems like 2020 is the year for chaos. So we'll have to see what happens.
See what the chaos card brings us this time.
Yeah.
One last note for the end of today's episode is that the NHL Draft Lottery Phase 2 was just finished up this afternoon, earlier today. The New York Rangers are getting the first overall pick this year. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going on right now because of the 8 balls that were dropped into the lotto machine, the only one that the person handling the balls, the only one that the person handling the ping pong balls dropped prematurely was the New York Rangers. So there's a lot of conspiracy going on right now about whether or not the Rangers ball was weighted differently so that it got sucked up into the machine quicker or something.
NHL's got to up their ball handling skills.
Yeah. But change them to pucks, then they'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. I'm okay with the Rangers winning it. I
was hoping for Edmonton, Toronto, or Pittsburgh because, like we were just talking about, that chaos card. I want that.
Ooh,
I wanted to
not want that at all.
Rage for everybody.
I did not want that. I was hoping the Jets would get it.
That would be a fun one. I would have liked him to go there.
That would have seemed fair. How the hockey gods treated them during that series, it would have been nice to or a little bit of
for your trouble.
Yeah. But I mean the Rangers is okay. I think that'll really accelerate their retool.
I mean, imagine him playing with like Panarin and or Zibanejad.
Yeah,
that could be a pretty good line coming up for a few years.
That's unfair. Yeah. So I'm okay with that. I'm glad it wasn't one of those 4 teams of the Penguins, Leafs, or whoever else.
Oilers.
3 teams, I guess. That would have been just malarkey.
Would have had to change the rules again on the draft lottery.
Yeah.
Can't have that happening again.
No. How many times has it been? Like 3 times? That's 4. Enough.
So I think that about wraps things up for this week on Clappercast. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to them. To keep up to date with our latest content, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Clappercast Media or on Twitter at Clappercast. Let us know how your team is doing so far in the comments down there. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back soon with more hockey talk.